Hey yo, what is up? Before I kick off this video, let me just remind you, 4th of July missions are up. You can earn about 120 plus stamps over the next 7 days, and to do that you do daily missions. You can get about 5 tokens, and if you watch Twitch streams for 3 hours, you can get about 15 tokens a day, and you can get this 2D style for about 45 tokens, and there's another 2D style for your Super Pershing for also 45 tokens, and that is your 4th of July news. We are looking at the Saladin. This is of course the new much anticipated tier 8 tech 3 British medium tank that's going to be a wheeled tank. Now what's special about this tank is of course the wheels. It's going to look different, and to be honest with you, if you're looking at the visuals that I'm looking with you now, it looks pretty sexy and it looks pretty interesting. It's a change from tracked wheels. I like the way that it presents itself. Wheel tanks are, kind of different. All we get in the wheel tanks are so far just the EBRs, and they have a certain look to it and kind of annoying attributes that people just hate on the EBRs. But the British wheel tanks are going to be slightly different because even though they are wheel tanks, they're going to behave exactly like tracked tanks in the way that they execute their mobility. Basically, the wheels, the hull of the tank itself can pirouette on the spot, as opposed to EBRs where you have to drive around in circles to make a 180-degree turn. But in the British wheel tanks, you can just drive the tank like a regular track tank. It will rotate the hull on the spot and pirouette just like a track tank. And so far the stats have remained the way it is. There's no changes in the stats, so we're gonna take a look at it. This is the Saladin tier 8 FV601. This is going to be the tech 3 wheel tank. So this is going to be pretty popular tank because everybody's going to have access to it. It is a tech 3 tank. You just got to research it, or you're going to free XP your way all the way up to the tier 8 and straight away get it. You don't need to pay money to get the premium version. You can just grind your way to the tech 3 tier 8 Saladin, and that is what is going to make this tank super popular. Everybody's gonna get it. So let's take a look at what you can get out of this tank. If you look at the hit points, 1450 hit points, just like a regular medium tank. The engine horsepower 198. Now it doesn't seem like it's a lot of engine horsepower. 198 horsepower is not a lot, but you got to remember this is a wheel tank, so you're going to expect that the gross weight of this tank is going to be much lower than a track tank. Therefore you have the power to weight ratio at 15, which is kind of like a mobile heavy tank power to weight ratio. So even though it's going to be pretty light tank, the engine horsepower only 198, it's going to give the mobility and agility of a quick heavy tank, if you get what I mean. It's not going to play like a T44-100, for example, where a T44-100 very agile, very mobile, medium tier 8 tank. This is going to be slightly less quick on its feet compared to a T44-100. However, you can get it up to 60 kilometers an hour top speed, 30 in reverse. It is not the quickest tank, but it is not the slowest tank either. 30 degrees of hull rotation per second. This makes it pretty agile. Absolutely no armor at all, either on the hull or on the turret. You do not want to be hit. You have 250 alpha damage, which is exactly like a T44-100. If you compare it to a CS52 LIS, I think that has 320 alpha damage, and a lot of the medium tanks right now are pushing 300 alpha. So 250 alpha is not that great, but you do get 215 standard penetration with the stock AP shells and 255 penetration with the premium shells, which is pretty good. Reload time 9.5 seconds, not the greatest, but this means 9.5 seconds you can get this down to about 7.5 seconds reload, which is pretty good. Not the greatest. Again, this is a Tech 3 tank. Nowadays wargaming does not give a huge boost to Tech 3 tanks. They prefer you to drive premium tanks for some reason, I don't know why. Dispersion on this tank 0.36, which is, to be honest with you, not that great. 0.36 dispersion is more akin to a tier 8 heavy tank kind of dispersion, so it's going to take a long time for you to aim. We don't know what the moving dispersions are, but if it is let's say 0.15, which is somewhere in the middle of good and bad moving dispersions, then it's going to be some kind of a medium support tank sniper. That's the role you've got to play. You are not in the front lines, you are supporting on the second line or third line behind a bush or behind terrain where you can use your 8 degrees of gun depression. Aim time is not that bad, 1.9 seconds of aim time, but again, no armor, not really great dispersion, not really quick reload time. This means you cannot play frontline, and you cannot play you really cannot play with the other mediums. You have to play behind the other mediums. You have to play ahead of the tank destroyers, but you're going to be a lot of bush sniping. You have to do a lot of flanking using your mobility and speed. Try to get around the sides and shoot from a distance is what I am gathering from the current stats at the moment. 980 meters per second on the AP shells and 1330 APCR premium shells, which means the shell velocity is not that bad. You can snipe from a distance. You have 400 meters view range stock, which means getting up to 440, 450, 460 meters of view range is not going to be a problem. And that's all I have for you today in the news with the Saladin FV601. I'll see you on the next video. Bye bye.